Here's something that might bother you. Two coworkers, same job, same salary, same exact dollar amount saved every single month for 30 years. One of them retires with almost $100,000 more than the other. Same income, same savings rate, same investment returns. The only difference, one of them picked Roth, the other picked traditional. And depending on your tax bracket, the math could flip completely the other way. This is Ron, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into it, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. And if this video helps you make a smarter decision with your money, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. Today, we are settling the debate that never seems to end. Roth IRA versus 401k. Not opinions, not it depends, hand-waving. Actual numbers, actual tax brackets, and a framework you can use right now to figure out which one wins for you. Stick around till the end, because the answer is probably not what you've been told. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics, fast, because you've probably heard this part before. A traditional 401k is funded with pre-tax money. It goes in before the IRS takes its cut, it grows tax-deferred, and you pay ordinary income tax when you withdraw it in retirement. A Roth IRA works in reverse. You fund it with money you've already paid taxes on. It grows completely tax-free, and when you withdraw it in retirement, you owe absolutely nothing to the IRS. Not on your contributions, not on the growth. So, on the surface, it looks like a simple trade-off. Pay taxes now or pay taxes later. But here's where almost every article online gets lazy, and where the real math actually lives. Let's run an actual scenario. Say you can afford to set aside $500 a month, and you do that for 30 years, earning an average 8% annual return, which is a reasonable long-term assumption for a diversified stock portfolio. If that $500 goes into a Roth IRA, it's already after-tax money. It grows tax-free for 30 years, and at the end, your account is worth roughly $745,000, and every single dollar of that is yours, tax-free, forever. Now here's the part people miss. If you're in, say, the 22% tax bracket, that $500 of take-home pay actually represents more money before taxes were taken out. To get the exact same hit to your paycheck, the same reduction in take-home pay, you could instead contribute about $641 a month pre-tax into a traditional 401k. Because that contribution reduces your taxable income, the government is effectively kicking in the difference. Run that same $641 a month for 30 years at 8%, and your account grows to roughly $955,000. Bigger number, sure, but it's pre-tax. You still owe the IRS when you pull it out. So here's the real question. What happens when you withdraw it? If your tax rate in retirement is also 22%, you pay tax on that $955,000, and you're left with about $745,000, the exact same number as the Roth, down to the dollar. That's not a coincidence, it's just math. When your tax rate going in equals your tax rate coming out, traditional and Roth produce an identical result. But retirement tax rates are never guaranteed. So let's flex that one variable. If your tax rate drops to 12% in retirement, maybe you're living on less, maybe tax brackets shift in your favor. That same $955,000 traditional balance nets out to around $840,000 after tax. That beats the Roth by almost $100,000. But flip it. If your tax rate rises to 32% in retirement, higher income later in life, or tax rates simply go up nationally, that same balance nets out to around $649,000. Now the Roth wins by close to $100,000. So here is the real truth. Nobody puts in the thumbnail. The 401k versus Roth IRA debate is not about which account is better. It is a bet on your future tax rate. Full stop. Anyone who tells you one account is objectively superior is skipping the only variable that actually matters. Now, before you panic about predicting the future of federal tax policy, let's talk about the other factors that matter just as much as this math, because the math isn't the whole story. First, the employer match. If your job offers a 401k match, that is free money, and it has nothing to do with Roth versus traditional. If your employer matches 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of your salary, you contribute enough to get the full match before you put a single extra dollar anywhere else. Walking away from a match is walking away from an instant guaranteed return that no investment can promise you. Capture it first, every time. Second, contribution limits. For 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 to a 401k if you're under 50. If you're 50 or older, you get an extra $8,000 in catch-up contributions, and if you're between 60 and 63, that catch-up jumps to $11,250. A Roth IRA, on the other hand, caps out at $7,500 for 2026, with an extra $1,100 if you're 50 or older. That's a massive gap. If you're trying to save aggressively, the 401k simply lets you put away more than 3 times as much per year. Third, income limits. Roth IRAs are not available to everyone. For 2026, if you're single and your income is above $168,000, you cannot contribute directly to a Roth IRA at all, with the benefit phasing out starting around $153,000. For married couples filing jointly, that phase-out range runs from $242,000 to $252,000. A 401k has no such income restriction. Anyone with access to the plan can contribute, regardless of how much they earn. So, if you're a high earner, your 401k might be the only one of these two accounts available to you directly, though high earners do sometimes use a strategy called a backdoor Roth to get around this. That's a deeper topic for another video. Fourth, required minimum distributions, or RMDs. With a traditional 401k, once you hit age 73, the IRS forces you to start withdrawing a minimum amount every year, whether you need the money or not, and you'll owe tax on every withdrawal. A Roth IRA has no RMDs at all during your lifetime. None. Your money can sit there, growing tax-free, for as long as you live, and even pass to your heirs with no forced withdrawals. This matters enormously if you're thinking about estate planning or simply want control over your own withdrawal schedule. Fifth, flexibility and access. A Roth IRA is uniquely forgiving. Because you already paid tax on your contributions, you can withdraw the amount you contributed, not the earnings, just your original contributions, at any time, for any reason, with zero taxes and zero penalties. That makes a Roth IRA a strange hybrid of a retirement account and an emergency backup plan. A 401k does not offer that flexibility. Pull money out before age 59 and a half, and you're typically looking at a 10% penalty on top of ordinary income tax, with very few exceptions. So let's bring this together into an actual decision framework. If you're early in your career, in a lower tax bracket than you expect to be in later, the Roth IRA tends to make more sense. You're paying tax now, at a cheap rate, and locking in tax-free growth for decades. If you're in your peak earning years, sitting in a high tax bracket right now, and you expect your income and tax rate to be lower in retirement, the traditional 401k tends to win. You get the deduction today, when it's worth the most, and you'll likely pay less tax later. If you genuinely don't know what the future holds, and let's be honest, most of us don't, the smartest move is tax diversification. Split your contributions. Build both a pile of pre-tax money and a pile of tax-free money. That way, no matter which direction tax policy moves over the next 30 years, part of your portfolio is positioned to benefit. And if you want a simple order of operations to follow, here it is. Step 1. Contribute enough to your 401k to capture the full employer match. Step 2. Max out a Roth IRA if you're eligible, since the tax-free growth and flexibility are hard to beat. Step 3. Go back to your 401k and increase contributions further, especially if you're in a high tax bracket. Step 4. If you have access to a health savings account, that's worth layering in too, since it offers a triple tax advantage. But that's a story for a different video. The bottom line on the real math? There is no universally correct answer. There is only the answer that's correct for your tax bracket, your career stage, and your tolerance for uncertainty about where tax rates are headed. So, let's bring it home. The Roth versus 401k debate isn't really about which account is better. It's a bet on your future tax rate, dressed up as an account-type decision. Capture your full employer match first, because that's free money no matter what. Then lean Roth if you expect to be in a higher bracket later, lean traditional if you expect to be in a lower one, and split the difference if you're not sure, because tax diversification is its own form of protection. If this video helped clear things up, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We've got more real math breakdowns coming on backdoor Roths, HSAs, and exactly how much you actually need to retire. Drop a comment and let me know. Roth, traditional, or a mix of both? I read everyone. This has been Ron. I'll see you in the next video.